What is going on, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to another episode of the Kingdom Says. I am your host, as always, Garrett Williams. Tonight, I am joined by just one of my usual co-hosts, Mr. Kyle Henning. How you doing tonight, Kyle?
It's a day in the life of the world, so it's going. Frustrating Monday night, long week, bunch of stuff going on this weekend. So you're getting 2 episodes in one because of the weird week. Gonna review that self-inflicted nightmare that was the Jacksonville game, and hopefully turn the page to a more positive Detroit game.
Yeah, that is the hope. The hope is to clean up the football for next Sunday on Sunday Night Football. And just to kind of figure out what went wrong in this Jacksonville Monday Night Football game. It was a close game, real close game. Came down to the final drive, really, and it was just not a very good performance. Some might say a very embarrassing performance, a very embarrassing collapse for the Chiefs after being up like 14-0, and then we kept on scoring, and then the defense just kept letting up. So we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna dive into it. Appreciate everyone for tuning in and joining us for this one. Obviously, like I said, we doubling up this week. We have a couple scheduling issues and stuff like that. So it's just me and Kyle tonight talking about this one, and how ugly of a game that Monday Night Football versus the Jags was. Kyle, it was not great. I mean, it started out okay. It seemed to start out okay, and we can highlight, definitely the better parts of the night, which is the offense and their success rate. They came out and looked pretty solid. They had a pretty good showing, not super penalized on that side of the ball, at least. Overall, initial thoughts of how the offense kind of looked.
When they weren't killing themselves, they were excellent, which is the theme of this entire game. They look 13 penalties to 4 against one of the most penalized teams in the league. It's a problem. It's a big problem.
It's pretty
and
bad.
It was a problem all night. The only team that stopped the offense was the offense. The Pat pick 6 was crushing. That was a 14-point swing.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
And he just got fooled. And that doesn't normally happen, and he just got fooled. And shout out to Tyquan Thornton on the effort to try to run him down, all like 125 or 130 yards that he ran.
Jeez Louise, I mean, I'm fine with Pat not having the effort, but everyone else not being able to tackle that guy is kind of ridiculous.
I mean, he was out with a convoy, so it wasn't like there was several guys that had a chance. There was 1 or 2 guys that got kind of a shot at him. Tyquan ran him down from behind. He probably could have tackled him at the 3, but he was trying to punch the ball out. So, the effort was there from Tyquan. Again, I don't care that Pat did not try to tackle him super hard. I prefer him not try to. Remember what happened last time he tried to tackle somebody off an interception?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody? Yeah. So he didn't hurt himself, but instead Rasheed's knee was gone for the rest of the season. So I don't care about that as much. It is annoying that he happened to get got there. That, like I said, that doesn't normally happen. Would also like
that was a big momentum swing. Yeah.
Would also like to see them run the ball from that down and distance.
Yeah, the running the ball was actually kind of productive. I mean, they were getting some decent production out of the very few times they ran the ball. I mean, Kareem was running pretty good. Pacheco actually probably one of Pacheco's best games this year.
Games. They were
handful of touches.
We don't always have to be super creative at the goal line. Sometimes, on goal to go, first down is okay to just run Kareem or Pacheco either outside zone or straight up the gut.
Yeah. Kareem short yardage.
Yeah, they did it afterwards. They did it after that. I just wish that would be more of our default than the other.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't the.
But self-inflicted wounds, man. There were so many different things in this game that were simply their own undoing. Like, no discredit to Jacksonville. They played hard and they fought. But if the Chiefs don't beat themselves, a game's not even close.
Yeah, and the way the offense was looking early on, I mean, that game shouldn't have been very close. Like, we always criticize the lack of the run game, but when the pass game is looking as stout as it is, and that's largely in part because the really good pass protection that we're seeing this year with Josh Simmons is killing it, Kingsley Suamataia is getting better and better. Like the whole offensive line is so much better this year. So the passing game is now it works. You have a
we
deep
can we
threat.
can go ahead and give credit to that other guy that everybody likes to shit on all the time. It's okay.
Well, I didn't get. Yeah, you're right.
Jawan
Creed
Taylor's been
Humphrey,
great.
Trey Smith. Yeah,
Yeah, Jawan
yeah.
Taylor's been great. He's
Jawan's been okay
part
too.
of.
Yeah, he didn't. He
He's,
only had
he's
one penalty, but it wasn't actually on him. So that's all right. It's
that one wasn't even him.
yeah,
They
that
just
one was actually not on him. So shout out to him. But
and you
whole
know
offensive line has been pass protecting phenomenally. So that
he
obviously is very beneficial to the passing game and having a couple deep threats in Xavier Worthy and Tyquan Thornton now that are real true, stretch the field, kind of make the defense fear the deep ball again
it's
type of offense. So
it's the first offense in 3 years that has threatened all three levels of the field at the same time, and that's before Rasheed comes back.
yeah, like it's the offense, the passing game is looking really good. And Mahomes, I mean, he was outside of the interception, he was looking really dialed in. He was hitting a lot of throws. He was creating out of the pocket, the third play, as they always say, where the first play and the second play breaks down, you have to just scramble around and find something. So that all was looking okay, and then the run game, they would get the ball and they ran with decent success rate. So that was good. Uh, Overall, I mean, there's not too many things to be mad about the offense from this game. Yeah, they got a little stagnant at end of the second, kind of through the third quarter, where you could have put your foot on the gas a little bit more, like we always try to say. The Chiefs are one of the worst, it seems like, at putting the foot on the gas and just finishing out games like that. They always let guys hang around a little too long, and when you let that happen and you're not scoring on every possession, which a la 2018 Chiefs, where you have to score on every possession. The other side of the ball, the Jaguars offense stepped up and made the defense pay and cut them back in it. And obviously the pick six happens, and that's a big momentum swinger, and that gets them a lot closer. But just the offense, I can't be too
that's
mad
a
about.
huge difference. That's 14 points. Like I said,
Yeah,
that's a massive swing. And uh, the other part of it is with the defense, they played fine for large chunks of the game. The problem was
yeah,
after the 14-point swing and the switch of the momentum, they couldn't stop it. And then at the end of the game, they victim of a questionable PI call, we'll call it, and then a very blatant PI call by a guy playing
yeah.
too much in a position he shouldn't be playing, and a game plan that doesn't have a spy on a guy who can run. And I know Trevor doesn't do it often in the NFL, but he
It's still
absolutely
not.
can do it.
Yeah,
And
yeah. That was
he did it
gash.
at Clemson a ton. And after the first two times you saw it, spy him just like you did everybody else. That's
Yeah,
what
it
got a
really felt
quarterback
like
like
the
that. You did it
defense
with
did not.
Jalen. You did it with Lamar.
Yeah, the defense did not seem to prepare for that aspect of Trevor's game at all. Like, yeah, there was no kind of like, yeah, he would think he was Lamar Jackson out there with the way that he was running on us. Like that was not even a factor. It seems like in the defense's mind to like, hey, this guy might run a lot on us, and his receiver core isn't necessarily great, so he has to kind of create a lot out of the pocket. So that definitely got us. I mean, he was able to continue a good amount of drives off of that, and
It,
just keep on churning the ball down the field. Which the bend, we always say bend don't break with the defense, but they were breaking it. They broke a couple times, especially at the end with that. Yeah, a couple bad penalties, a real bad one on Chamari Connor in the end zone that basically lost the game for us. Yeah, really sloppy, really sloppy football, really from everybody. But yeah, the defense, that's where some problems are. There's some problems, and it's not necessarily it's Chamari Connor. I'll tell you, Chamari Connor is a major problem. There's a couple other guys on that defense who I think are problems at this point, but Chamari Connor seems to be the main culprit, the guy who's given up a lot of yards, the guy who's given up these big penalties and stuff like that. And it's not necessarily his fault. They just keep on playing him in some random position. I mean, he played the majority of the slot snaps. Noel Williams, the guy who we've been raving about, that he's been so good. Spags himself has raved about him. He's been like, man, this Noel Williams kid, Spags is saying he's doing so great and progressing. And he's been giving him, increases of snap counts week after week. 4. He got 4 snaps this week on
Oh,
defense.
was it 4? I thought it was 3.
Yeah, it ended up being 4 on defense for the whole game. How is that? Like, what is the point? How? And Spags afterwards, like, oh, those are the different packages we're rolling out. It's like, what packages? What packages are you taking? Are you running that Christian Fulton is still inactive, and yet somehow the best cornerbacks that you're putting on the field are Chamar Connor in the slot still, and you're not putting Noel Williams on there, and Christian Roland Wallace was rotating in a little bit in the slot, but the complete change from the increase of Noel Williams snaps, putting McDuffie in the slot, having a good defensive back rotation, and that just seemed to go all through the roof in this game. It just complete 180 change of who and what should we be playing in these spots, and it cost us. I mean, I'm not sure what the matchup, what the game plan was of what matchups, and if you're trying to really focus on Travis Hunter or what, but I was confused. I was very confused, especially after you see Noel Williams only have freaking 4 snaps. Like, that can't happen.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm picking a spot to put any of this, especially on the defensive side of the defensive performance, it's Don Spags, which like that game plan, that layout of snaps, that's stuff that, like, I feel like a couple of times a year he has games like this where he does this stuff, and like, for what? I don't care that Shamari Connor was back in his hometown area. I don't care.
That's ridiculous.
This is the NFL.
If that's why he freaking had all those snaps, because he's from Jacksonville. Bro, leave him in Jacksonville. All right, if you like him there so much, leave him there.
This is the NFL. It's not the YMCA. It's not your local travel ball league. It's the NFL. There's no reason to not, and it's not that they don't know who's best at what spot. It's part of the reason that the stuff that he's done with Shamari Connor is so baffling. And I saw some Dan Sorensen comparisons, and he played him in the wrong spot a lot, which is why Dan struggled at points when Dan struggled. We talked about this for a long time. There are certain things, and this is true of both of the coaches on the staff. You for all the good, there are a couple of things that they do consistently that are just mind-numbing. Yeah. And that's one of them, is some of the personnel decisions that Spags makes. The edge rusher is a conversation.
Another big one. Yeah.
He has a type. Well, that's great, but unless that type starts...
The not good at pass rushing type seems what the type
unless your type is Jason Pierre-Paul, it's tough for what they ask for. Like, now, George has been better than people think he's been because of the sack numbers aren't there, which sacks are an inconsistent thing, and it always has been. That's why pressure rate and win rate matter more when you're looking at defenses and pass rush. But the other problem they had in this game was rush lanes. And Chris is on the sideline with a tablet in the third quarter going, guys, stay in your freaking rush lanes. And look, the last play, I would have liked to see a little more effort from Chris. And Chris took ownership of that in the press conference today. But also, I don't know. The dude's playing like 90% of the freaking snaps. And he's not 26 anymore. Yeah. And I know he's making a ton of money. And I get all of that. You have to help him. Like, Derek Nottie is the worst rated defensive tackle of all defensive linemen in the league.
Yeah, maybe of all time.
All of them. It's a tough spot. And Omar Norman-Lott being out hurt. Yeah, and it's twice now he's been out, and they've lacked that interior pass rush next to Chris to really help him out. It's silly that we're depending that much on a rookie, but that's the guy that they're missing on this defense right now. The Chamari Connor thing is mind-numbing. I don't think it's going to go away necessarily. Hopefully it gets better as the season progresses. But Omar Norman-Lott's a big piece of this defense, and without him, they struggle to have any help for Chris. And because of that, you get a play like that where Trevor falls down twice and still makes it in because 3 guys miss him and Chris isn't chasing down behind them to back them up because I'm sure he thought somebody would have tackled him by that point.
You would think,
But also,
how Looney Tunes that play was.
but he's gassed. I mean, he's completely gassed. You could see it in his face. You could see it in his body language. He's toast. He's on the field. It's like what happened with Travis last year. 85% of the snaps for a guy that's 35, 36 years old in Travis's case, it's way too much.
Yeah, they just have no one else who can really even go out there and do it.
85% of the snaps for Chris Jones at 32, 33 when you're doing nothing but getting double teamed all game. It's too much.
Yeah.
Like, why do you think Aaron Donald retired early?
Yeah.
Like, he was like, man, I'm tired of this noise.
Yeah, I'm tired.
All they do is block me with the whole offensive line.
Yeah. I mean, Chris is...
And it's hilarious because Aaron retires and they get help for him immediately if he'd have stayed.
Yeah, Chris has just such a big role on the defense that he's having to do so much all the time. It's like, yeah, it's tough to go out there and, in a perfect world, you don't take any plays off, and that's the whole, old mantra and all that.
And unfortunately for him, he has... The other unfortunate part is he has had in his youth the little bit of a label of sometimes he turns it on and sometimes he doesn't. So now when he's killing himself, but now, that kind of went away for like 5 or 6 years where that wasn't really a conversation piece, right? Because it seemed like he was pretty much always on. And now the last couple of years, because he's by himself and he's exhausted, now that conversation is easier to be brought back up again because he had a history of it when he was younger. So even though he's outgrown it, and it's not him just not giving max effort, it's that he's absolutely completely used up and he's gassed. And yeah, you can do long drive drills in camp all you want, but
it's a whole game.
You're 6 weeks, when you're 6 weeks into when you're 6 weeks into a season and you've played basically every snap of the whole game that matters, that's a lot to ask for a guy that age to do it by himself with not a lot of help. They've gotten a little more help. They've gotten a little bit more out of George Karlaftis. Charles Omenihu had a decent game last week, and he followed it up with a little bit better performance again this week.
He at least was great. Yeah, he at least had a presence out there for once. So that's good.
So, but
Ashton still kind of up and down. Mike Dana was back. He had a decent game for what Mike
Dana's not getting snaps again because now they've got Dana back.
Mike Dana back,
and now the rotation is off again. And
they're gonna have to figure out some answers, I think, on this defensive line front. I don't know if it's going to be
to stop jacking with certain things on personnel, but you live with the good and the bad when it comes to these coordinators / head coach / assistant head coach, which is basically what Spags like. When it comes to that group, and we talk same thing about special teams, we don't always have to get cute, guys. Like that stupid ass kickoff out of bounds is because Dave Tobe decided to call a return right and get cute, and Harrison mishit it out of bounds.
Even the first kick of the game was almost out of bounds from Harrison. Special teams is also a massive problem that we have to acknowledge.
I brought up the kickoff thing with him in the pregame.
Yeah, we've talked about the kickoff thing. At a certain point though, you're a pro. You have to figure it out. Like, come on, we have to be kicking and if you're not comfortable with it, kick a touchback. Like at this point, I mean, that was
the thing. Dave was like, "Oh, we're trying to pin him inside the 30." Who cares? Put him at the 35. Yeah,
exactly. I'd rather have that than I don't know. The 40? Special teams is another whole thing that will need to be talked about. There was 4 penalties on the special team. At least off the top of my head, I can remember. Jack Cochran had 2
penalties on one guy.
Yeah, Jack Cochran had 2. Nico Armigio had a weird double team penalty. I didn't even know that was a thing
that's
ever been called.
Soft, it hurts.
Yeah, and then Harrison with the
that
kickoff.
Rule,
it's just not good.
Try to stop the wedge thing. The reason that the double team block rule thing is now in existence is like trying to stop the wedge stuff. But like you took all that away when you did the weird thing with this new kickoff rule. So why is the double team block even a conversation? Like. That's just the NFL.
The fact that the kickoff itself is still this much of a problem, like, come on, we have to figure out something on that front. We're not getting penalties every single kickoff. It seems like it's ridiculous.
I had my questions about exactly what the purpose of Jack Cochran was on this team in training camp. Remember? He was a name I brought up to be cut.
Dave Tobe tells you, hey, you know what? We like him running down the field and getting holding calls. So that's
He was a name I brought up as a potential cut candidate for the linebacking group because of the 2 young guys in Bassa and I'm blanking so horribly bad on that kid's name. McDonald.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that and now what you have him on the roster for, which is special teams, he's consistently having problems with.
Yeah, so that's
Why?
something that the whole special teams situation just needs to be addressed, and that needs to get cleaned up. The defense needs to clean themselves up. Need to figure out the pass
Just stop
rush.
being cute, guys.
Yeah,
Just stop overthinking and being too cute. That the summary for this game for me was stop shooting yourself in the foot and stop overthinking things and trying to get cute. That should have been a team. You should have just continued to dominate them without hesitation the way you had the entire basically first quarter of that game. And instead, we're overdoing it and thinking too much and trying to play around with stuff and trying to get cute. And we can't stop taking penalties and you lose. That's
yeah.
how you lose a game you're supposed to win against another AFC South opponent.
And the crazy part is that we could have still won that game at the end of the round too.
Yeah.
The clock management at the end was also a problem where the offense gets the ball with a couple minutes left. They drive down the field. They actually were almost too productive driving down the field because they scored too quick. They still left like a minute and a half for Jacksonville after that. Then you have the penalty, and then it's they're set up at the 40,
Well, then,
and then it's just downhill from
and
there.
even
They
then,
needed to manage that
the
end of the
drive
time.
after the touchdown. Well, sure, but the drive after the touchdown, the 25 seconds or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah.
Hollywood, buddy,
Hollywood.
turn your
Where
head.
are you running? Like, how are you turn your head? Yeah, exactly. Turn your head, bro. Where are you running to? Obviously, the ball has to get out of his hands insanely quick. Your head should be around ASAP. Yeah,
Well,
the fact that it
especially
hits
on that
Hollywood on
route,
his shoulder pad is ridiculous.
that stuff like that can't happen. Like there's a reason 13 seconds worked.
Yeah.
Travis and Tyreek were aware, and that's the little stuff. That's the little details that this team doesn't usually struggle with that has killed them in 3 games this year. Killed them. They're little
It's real
details,
sloppy
whether
stuff.
it's coaching game plan, whether it's players making little mental mistakes. Like this is the little stuff that they've been so good at for so many years that we've somewhat probably felt like we've taken advantage of it to the point where like taking it for granted, and they've got to clean up the little stuff, the in betweens, the between the ears stuff, because a lot of this was between the ears. The not rushing in your pass lanes correctly, the not turning your head around to play the ball while it's in the air, the not just continuous stuff that is self-inflicted wounds. Stop doing it.
Yeah, it's just a lot of sloppiness that needs to clean up. And when like I said, when we make these tiny little mistakes, like you can only get away with it for so long. You can only luck out necessarily like so long. Like last year, the Chiefs, I believe, they were 8-0 in one score games, or something like that. We were undefeated in one score games. This year, completely defeated, 0-3 in one score games. So those tiny little things, those little coin flips, those game of inches that we always talk about, like that can
They
make a
usually
difference of
win in the
winning or
margins.
losing a game. Yeah, and we usually win those. And now this year, it's not happening. It's the exact opposite. Like
and like I said, it's not because of the other team in a lot of these instances. It's because of themselves.
It's hard to say because like no disrespect to Jacksonville, but like 9 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, if the Chiefs are losing a football game, it's because they shot themselves in the foot. They messed it up. Like it's the other team still has to go out there and do it and score and all that stuff, but it's mostly always the Chiefs shooting themselves in the foot.
As of late,
sloppy mistakes.
If this was a 10 years ago podcast, the conversation would be totally different.
But
that'd
be actual bad football teams, which is tough. Like this is a good football team who's losing in these ways.
This team and this coaching staff, this stuff is not usually an issue, and it has been all year. And they got to figure it out, and they got to clean it up. And for all that said, I think they will. They've had stuff like this before. They've done this before in certain games. Colts game comes to mind. Raiders on Christmas comes to mind.
Mm-hmm.
They've done this kind of crap before, and then they'll turn around and take a team like, I don't know, Detroit, and beat them.
Yeah, that's going to be a big challenge. It's going to be a big challenge as we transition to
it's stuff like that where I have faith in them to correct some of this stuff because this is all stuff that is correctable. It's not
Mhm.
stuff that's, oh my god, how do we fix this? They have everything they really need. Could they use a little boost in the pass rush? Probably. Could they use a little boost in the running back room? Probably. Is it absolutely be all end all that they have to improve in those two spots, like adding someone? No. They probably have enough on this roster regardless. They just got to clean up the little stuff and the silliness, the silly mistakes, the mental mistakes, the lack because a lot of the penalty stuff is lack of focus and mental mistakes. You can't have those.
Yeah.
So
Well, let's talk about the Detroit game now. We'll transition over to that. Very big Sunday night football.
and
What?
yes, to get us started with that, we should probably talk about our friends.
Yeah, we should. We should talk about our friends. Kai, want to lead us into that? Yeah.
For the game on Sunday night, if you're not
Yeah.
already a member of the Underdog family platform, you guys should hop over to Underdog. Drop in that code Kingdom Says. They've got a ton of different promos. I'm sure Garrett will probably look up what the current run is on the promo while I'm talking about stuff.
I think it's
But
play $5, you get 100 in bonus funds. So you just
all
gotta
right,
sign up, use
so
our code, and then yeah, just play $5, you get 100.
it's
Free.
also October, and that means that for them it's Boost Tober, and they've got like
Mhm.
30% profit boost on your pick slips every day for like the whole month. So hop over there. There'll probably be some special line for Sunday. If
Yeah,
not,
they
it's
always
because
got
they have the
some
boost
kind of
stuff
Sunday
going
night
on.
promo. Yeah,
But
something like that.
hop over there, throw a few dollars in the account, get a bunch bet $5, set a lineup for $5 and get 100 back. I think is what Garrett said.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, there's the Lions secondary is hurt hurt. They put somebody else on IR earlier today, I think, or earlier this week. My days are all running together, so I apologize. But Mahomes higher or lower on his passing yards is 260 and a half. Travis higher or lower on his receiving is 45 and a half. Xavier's higher or lower on his receiving 61 and a half. Hollywood Brown is at 42. I don't know if I do that, but let me see the name that I've been using a lot lately. They don't have it out yet. I don't see Taekwon's yardage line yet,
Hmm.
or yardage higher or lower yet,
Whatever it is, hit that higher
but
for real. Yeah.
I would hit the over or the upper option on that, the higher option on that, because he's been higher, I think, every week for the last 5 weeks.
Yeah, he just
Um,
Tyquan Thornton is a production
and
machine.
whether you want to look at his reception total option or you want to look at his yardage total option, I think both of those are a solid option. Juju, 23 and a half receiving yards. He's, I think, been
Yeah.
in that ballpark or pretty close. For Detroit, Sam Laporta, 43 and a half. Probably would
That's pretty automatic.
probably
Yeah.
would entertain that. So lots of options. I don't know if I would look at Amon Rogers because I don't know what that matchup's going to be, if he's going to get to see a lot of Trent or not. But they have Sonic and Knuckles over there with Jameer Gibbs and David Montgomery. Montgomery's rush yards are higher or lower than 42 and a half, and Jameer's at 69 and a half. I would probably look at Montgomery for the in that 40 range, just because I think more of Jameer's yards are going to come through the air. But there's a lot of options, and that's just for the Chiefs game. They have all the games. They have baseball right now. They have WNBA, hockey's back, college football on Saturday. NBA is getting ready to gear up again here soon. Tennis, esports, Counter Strike is on here. So UFC, they got drafts, they got all kinds of stuff. Hop over to our friends at Underdog, deposit a few dollars, make some plays, get your bonus, maybe win you some money.
Yeah. Okay,
Code
so
Kingdom Says.
yep. Yep. So main focus going into this Lions game, obviously eliminating the mistakes, playing sound football. It's going to be maybe a bit of a shootout. The Lions defense, they've been good against some inferior opponents. They just played Jake Browning Bengals, so that's kind of a wash. Can't really say that
I don't
their
even know if that
defense
counts.
performs good against them. But overall, I mean,
And
they
that
have a very
offensive line
productive
for
defense.
Cincinnati is poo poo.
You have Aiden Hutchinson on that side of the ball still. That's still a dog. They have a lot of really good linebackers. Alex Anzalone is really good. Jack Campbell is really good. They had some good corners. A lot of their corners are banged up, though. That's kind of the thing. They had Terrion Arnold and I believe DJ Reed, and I know DJ Reed's out for the foreseeable future. I think Terrion Arnold, yeah, he was a DNP Wednesday and Thursday, so pretty
Didn't
questionable if he'll be playing.
I swear I saw him end up. Let me find out real quick. I thought he was the one that they basically already ruled out. Also,
They might have, yeah, they might have, because it seemed like his injury was pretty serious. Also, Kirby Joseph, another one of their safeties, who's a really productive member of their secondary, he was DNP a couple days. So they have a lot of. Zach Cunningham, one of their linebackers, was DNP both days. So Brian Branch, another one of their DBs, was limited a couple days. They have another Avante Maddox was limited on Thursday. So they're kind of banged up on the defensive front. So that's a good sign for Kansas City's offense, which is not the side of the offense, not the side of the ball for the Chiefs that you really have to worry about. I have a good amount of confidence that we'll pick things up where we left off at the offense. Xavier Worthy was a little banged up this week in practice. I know he missed a practice with the ankle injury, which was a um, injury that kind of popped up after they landed in Jacksonville this Sunday. He became questionable and he had some swelling in his ankle, and now he's missed a practice. So I bet it's
I
probably just a precautionary thing that they're going to keep him, kind of good and fresh as fresh as they can, because Xavier Worthy, as we know, he'll tough it through a lot of things. So I expect him to be full go. The rest of the offense, I think, will be more than fine. I don't think there's any other.
Today felt like a maintenance day for X.
Yeah, definitely, just something. Give him
Give him a
almost like a
break. No
day
need.
type deal. Just let him
Yeah.
recover a little bit more. Don't gotta really
Um,
push him.
so
But
Terrion Arnold on Monday, Dan Campbell thought it was real bad. He got a second opinion, and now it's not as bad, but it still doesn't seem like he's going to be around this
right,
week.
yeah, I think I saw that like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think he might miss is what I think I saw one person saying. So it's probably more than likely he'll be out this game. So that leaves their secondary a little depleted. So it's going to be a good opportunity for the offense to stretch its legs a little bit. It's probably going to have to be a pretty high scoring game. You're probably going to have to score on a lot of possessions, because on the flip side, the Lions offense is really good. They're a very, very productive offense.
They
Like,
got weapons everywhere.
yeah, they got Sonic and Knuckles, like Kyle mentioned. Jameer Gibbs and David Montgomery are the best running back duo in the league, hands down. Like, I don't think that's a question. And Chiefs are usually, pretty good at handling some of these star running backs when they come to town. Saquon, Derrick Henry, Travis Etienne. Now you got two. Okay, now you got two star-studded running backs to handle. Still not exactly super worried, but then you also obviously have the passing game of Detroit. Jared Goff is playing good football still. He's playing very good football still. Amon-Ra St. Brown is phenomenal. They have Jamison Williams, who is a field stretcher in himself. He's kind of their version of Xavier Worthy in a way. They have a lot of really talented dudes on that offense, Kyle, and it's the one thing you might question is maybe the pass protection. That's the one thing that you might have to look at. And luckily, Jared Goff is not as mobile as some of the past quarterbacks, so this might be beneficial that we don't have to worry about the rush lanes as much. But we'll see. We'll see. What do you think of overall? What do you think of this game going into it, Kyle? What do you think?
They've got a big offensive line. It's taken a step back, and I think there were some guys that were part of that is because they have some guys that might be a little dinged up or missing. I'd have to go back and look, but that's not the same offensive line of the last few years that's been pretty solid. So that's a spot where you're hoping you can manufacture some range. Because like I said, they got weapons everywhere. You got Amon-Ra and Jamison Williams and stuff outside. You got Sam Laporta. You got Sonic and Knuckles. Jared Goff's not going to beat you with his feet a lot. He still can move, but he's not anybody that's dangerous when he's running. But you have to be at least smart about when you rush him, because I've seen him get out and scramble for yardage before to get you a first down when you need it or whatnot. So There's some of that. The matchup on that side of the ball is going to be the safety linebacker group against the tight end and the running backs. That's the eyes for me.
Sam
Um,
Laporta is very good football player.
well, Jameer Gibbs back for the field is a problem
Yeah,
as far as catching the ball goes too. So that matchup with whether it's Bolton, Tranquil, Chenal, pick your safety, Hicks, Cook, Connor, whoever. There's gonna have you're gonna have to win some of those battles, and then on the flip side of the ball, the take advantage point we've already talked about is the secondary, but the matchups that I think is probably going to help determine a lot of this game for the Chiefs offense is your young rookie left tackle who's been really good against an absolute animal in Aiden Hutchinson.
that's a big one. That's
That
a big
dude's a problem. I love me some Josh Simmons. Don't be surprised if there's a couple plays this week where he doesn't look as good. Maybe I'm wrong and he goes out and balls. Aiden Hutchinson gives perennial All Pro tackles fits.
Yeah,
So
I think there's a
this is
chance
a
Josh
measuring
will overthrow
stick.
him though. I do think there's a chance that
This
Josh
is a
will overthrow him.
measuring stick game for Josh. This is a game where
That's
you're
gonna be a
going to
very
find
questionable
out
thing.
exactly how good you are because Aiden Hutchinson can do it all. He's speed, power, been like if you go build a defensive end in a lab, he's one of those dudes. Him, Miles Garrett, TJ Watt. There's a few of them, but that dude is a problem. So how they approach that, how Josh handles that, that's a big focus. That's the matchup I'm most intrigued by heading into this week is those two squaring up and squaring off. Maybe we get lucky and Aiden lines up against Joanna Bunch, who's seen him and seen stuff like that and knows. But I have a distinct feeling Detroit's going to test the rookie.
I would imagine. Yeah, I would imagine. It's a. I'll be excited to watch the match. I've the more and more I watch Josh Simmons, the more and more confident I get in his abilities. That's seems like
Oh,
he's working
kid's
out pretty
balling.
good. I mean, yeah, it seems like he might be
I
like we all
I
kind
am
of knew.
not one
We
in
knew
the
he'd be the
slightest
home
to
run in the
doubt.
draft. Yeah,
I'm not one to tell you that I don't think he's going to be able to hold his own. I can tell you there's probably going to be a play or two where it doesn't look as good as it has in weeks past because it's just a different level of competition. Aiden Hutchinson is a dude, certified.
yeah. You can also kind of game plan around and away from him in times and whatnot. So we'll see. We'll see how him and the rest of that Lions defense looks. My biggest just worry and is just covering this Detroit offense, limiting the big explosive plays that they're very, very key to covering the tight end position. It's always kind of a tricky one with the Chiefs is covering tight ends. Sam Laporta will make you pay for it if you're a little slacking in coverage. Whatever defensive personnel package that Steve Spagnuolo decides to run out this week, better figure it out. We better figure out a real good one for this one because if we're putting Shamari Connor on Sam Laporta, I don't think that's good. I think if we're putting Jamari Connor on Jameson Williams, that's definitely not good. Um, there's not a lot of matchups actually. I would say you can put Jamari Connor in and it'd be good. So that's maybe just part of the problem. Um, so we'll see.
Don't
We'll
make him
see.
play man. If you're going to have him
Yeah,
on the field as a safety, have him on the field as a safety. Do not put him in man coverage against guys he cannot cover in man coverage.
yeah, that's the big thing. Yeah, gotta
I feel like a
utilize your
broken
players in the
record.
right
I feel like we've
spot.
been talking about this for like 2 years now.
Yeah, I mean, it is Dan Sorensen all over again. Although at least Dan Sorensen made some big plays sometimes. Jamari's kind of been lacking in that
He did
department.
a
But hey,
couple years ago, and I think he made a couple last year. But also, it
yeah,
goes back to the good outweigh the bad, and
yeah.
largely the answer is no.
No, it's not. It's not worth it. Yeah, I would definitely say it's not worth it. But so we'll see. Hopefully we do some self scouting and we put all of our players in the best position possible to
I,
succeed and limit this Lions
I want to
offense.
see I want to see this offense on our behalf, the wide receivers really attack this secondary. You've got a
Yeah,
chance to go out and make some guys that don't normally play and they're not used to playing together. You have a chance to go out and put put them in real distress and real tough situations. Go out and force the issue. And like we talked about, don't slow down when you're up 14. Put put 40 on them. It's the who cares if their feelings are hurt? It's the
Yeah.
NFL. Hurt their feelings,
Yeah.
Andy. Hurt their
True.
feelings.
Yeah. I agree. And special teams, let's show up and have a great day. All right. Let's just
Just
show up and have a great day. Shouldn't even have to
again,
talk about them.
just stop being cute. Just
Yeah.
go handle the basics. Just back to the basics. That should be the theme for the
Right.
whole week.
Yeah. Just show up and get the job done versus Detroit.
Well,
Also, Patrick Mahomes has never beaten
the whole
Jared
team.
Goff. So that's another thing we have to consider. I think they've only played twice, but Jared Goff has bested
Yeah.
both matchups.
54-51, and then the opening night when Chris Jones was in the suite with the Wish.com agents. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another demon we can conquer. You know, we can get back on Goff. You know, conquer that mountain and keep on moving. Like the Lions are a really good team. Like the Lions are very likely going to be
Yes.
in the NFC Championship game this season, as long as they don't fuck it up in the playoffs. But it's definitely going to be them. You know,
That
combination
secondary
of
is a little sketchy.
Eagles,
But
Packers.
other than that,
if their health holds up like it didn't last year, that was kind of their big thing.
I'm sorry. Did you say Eagles?
Well, yeah, they're kind of looking bad now. They're looking pretty bad right now.
Did we watch the same game?
They'll be near the top still. Them, the Packers, the Lions. They'll be out the Bucks. You know, those kind of maybe the top 4 in the NFC at the moment. But yeah, Lions, really, really good team. Cannot take them lightly. They've been on a win streak. They're still pretty hot. They have lot of motivation to come in and get this thing done. In Arrowhead too. We're in Arrowhead in Kansas City. Sunday Night Football. Should be a good game. It should definitely be a good game. I'll tell you that much. It should be a really, for the neutral fan who likes who's football fans, you know, I'm sure it'll be a very entertaining game for them. So anything else on this game before we make some score predictions and get out of here?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think we got it covered. I mean, basically just don't make mistakes, don't shoot yourself in the foot, and should be able to come out of this game in
back to the basics, boys. Back to the basics.
Exactly. So, all right. Well, you want to let's give some score predictions. You want to lead off with some score predictions?
Sure. The lines for this game is the Chiefs are 2.5-point favorites at home. The total is 52.5. So that gives you a little baseline. Vegas seems to think there may be some points in this game. Also, sounds like. This feels unbelievably like 34-31 type of game, and you can flip a coin on who's on which side of the 34-31 type of game.
Yeah.
I'll roll. I think the offense does enough because I just don't think the secondary can hold up for the Lions, and that will make them a little more one-dimensional if they have to play from behind. So the slightest of edges to the Chiefs at home. Arrowhead makes a difference. Sunday night, it'll be loud. It'll be prime time. I'll take Kansas City 34-31. It's going to be something silly like 34-31, 31-28, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I think that's just justified reasoning. Yeah, it being an Arrowhead is pretty huge. That's something that we always have to remember, that Arrowhead is a big home field advantage. You know, last week on the road in Jacksonville, not to discredit, I mean, Jacksonville, they were pretty loud. You know, they definitely showed up and showed out for that Monday Night Football game. So either way,
they were loud. Who was loud? The Chiefs fans that were there until they left towards the end?
No, the Jaguars
that was mostly Chiefs.
Jaguars fan. Now the broadcast might have been juicing the noise a little bit. It seemed like the crowd noise was just really loud in general, just throughout the whole game. But either way, being at home, having the Arrowhead crowd to your advantage, I think it definitely benefits the Chiefs. You know, shout out my homie Trevin, who's a Lions fan. I think it's going to be a good game, and I think it's going to be close. You know, I think there's a chance that both teams score like 6-7 times. Like it might be a real high shootout type of game where, you know, I think I'm in the same ballpark. I'm even leaning maybe like, yeah, it's like 38-35. Like it's just how this defense, I mean, the defense of both sides are looking, like it just seems like you could very well have a big shootout like this game. I'm going to give the edge to the Chiefs as well, though, just because I feel like the offense will do enough. I think they'll be a little more calculated. I think it kind of factors in like how aggressive you are on offense based on how your defense is doing. In the Jacksonville game we didn't talk about, but I think we punted twice on 4th and 2 at like around midfield. Our side of the ball, our side of the field still, but it was close. And so knowing that your defense might not be up to par that you might need them to be, and you're going against a really high firing offense, you might be a little more aggressive in some of those situations, take a little bit more chances, or on the flip side, play a little more conservatively and just maybe break out the play calls that actually work. No more of this fancy mumbo jumbo silliness that they sometimes break out in these situations. Just go out there, put some basic clean football together. And with the way that the offense has been looking, the way the pass protection has been holding up, the way that Pat has been playing, if you just do the basic things, you should be able to come out of this game on top. So give me 38-35 to Chiefs, and yeah, I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be a really good game.
Sounds like it's gonna be an interesting game. We'll see about how great it is, but it's gonna be interesting regardless.
Yeah, there's halfway decent chance that we have our heads in our hands at halftime. We're like, oh my god, not again. This is another weird game like we're very accustomed to. Shout out OGW or OWG. That's
there you go.
Yeah, nailed it. So, all right, well, that's about it. That's all we've got for you then. We appreciate everyone rocking with us on this little bit shorter episode, this little impromptu kind of weird day. Just kind of how Monday Night Football and the shortened week goes and scheduling and stuff like that. But we're glad we were able to get on here and share some ideas with you guys, share some thoughts and opinions on how this game might go. And hopefully you guys are excited as equally much or maybe even more than we are, because the benefit of you guys watching, that you guys to watch the game, and if they shit the bed and lose, you don't have to at least go on a podcast and talk about it every time. That's what we have to do. That's what we have to do. Come back on here every week and say, yep, Chiefs shot themselves in the foot again. Who would have guessed it? Not us. No.
It's fun. It's fun, but the broken record stuff does feel at points it's just like, why do we have to keep saying the same things?
Yeah, but the Super Bowl celebration episodes make it all worth it. So on that path. We're on that path. Just got to make it to the playoffs this year, and it's anyone's game. So we appreciate everyone for rocking with us tonight. Be sure to check us out at Kingdom Says Pod, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Check us out, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you get your podcasts at. We will be on there. And we will see you guys next week to recap all the festivities of Sunday Night Football and everything else that might happen during the week. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Kingdom Says.